And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a show about shows. I'm one of your two hosts, Jordan Pearson, joined here as always by my brother from another mother, my one and only heterosexual life mate, Dutch McAllister.
Hey, what's up there, everybody? Jordan, how's it going, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. How are you doing in these crazy and wacky times of ours?
Well, I got food poisoning this past week, and
That's
I
not
have
good. What did
and
you eat?
I ate a Publix ham, so it was I have to I haven't turned it in yet. It's still in my fridge. It has no expiration. It has an expiration date of like 3 months down the road, or a month and a so
I don't
down the
know if
road.
I don't know. You gotta check. I know the return policy is weird right now.
I don't know, but it gave me food poisoning for 2 whole days. So, but then on top of that, I had to take a COVID test again. So I've taken three. So I'm 3 for 3. Woo! I'm negative.
Yeah, we'll turn a negative into a positive, and this is episode 53 of the show about shows, the midnight special. Why? Because we're recording it at midnight 30 now.
Midnight 30. Is that even a thing?
It is now. We got a lot
You
of
know what?
fun. Oh no,
Let me
you.
just let me just say though. A lot of people, on 12:30 is like, wow, that's so late. When you get to my age, but at your age, this is like 1 in the afternoon, and I'm
Yeah,
fine with
I
it.
still got several hours left.
I probably have enough to watch at least another three more episodes or so of a show, so I could do that tonight. So yeah, I'm with you.
We got some good reviews for you coming up here just shortly. We're going to talk about My Spy, The High Note, Brian Banks' Villain, and several others. We're also going to go over the top 10 movies of the 1970s. I remember that decade fondly. Uh,
Back of my hand. No, not really.
as well as some of course, news and notables. You want to start us off, man? Talk about a little bit of Dave Batista spying on us?
This movie has been in peril. It seemed for like a year and a half. They kept getting postponed, they kept getting postponed, and then finally Amazon said we'll buy it, and then they kept postponing, and then they finally dropped it. It's called My Spy with Dave Bautista. A hardened CIA operative finds himself at the mercy of a precocious 9-year-old been sent undercover to surveil her family. This has Dave Bautista, Chloe Coleman, Kristen Skull, Kim Jong, and Parisia Henley. Uh, Jordan, what did you think about this first before I jump in? Because I watched this as you did. I have a feeling because we both are big Dave Bautista supporters.
Yeah, man, I've been a big fan of Dave since 2002. He debuted as Deacon Batista. Fun fact for you. And it's always fun when he branched out into movies. Of course, Drax and Guardians of the Galaxy. And yeah, I mean, I've been looking forward to this. I kind of always figured what this would be. A pleasant, fun PG, although a little PG-13 romp, because it actually does every once in a while tonally go a little overboard for what I thought would be more of a kiddie movie. There's a couple moments between language and violence. I'm like, oh no, they're PG-13ing this up here. In fact, what is the rating to this?
I don't even know. I thought it was a PG movie, but it could be PG-13. Why not? Because there's a lot of violence, a lot of adult humor. Um, I don't know. I think they used this kid as a prop mostly. It seems.
It does look like it's PG. Well, this is definitely a hard PG.
Yeah, it's right on that cusp. They're just one F word away, to having a PG-13 film.
Well, no. Well, yeah, I guess true, true.
Because
I
you can
was
only
say
have one
we're not going
PG-13.
into R-rated territory,
Yeah.
but no, I mean it's a simple enough movie. There's some laughs. It's a little schmaltzy, some not so great mothering by the main character at first. She's met Dave Batista once, and she's like, "Yeah, look after my daughter all day long. I don't care."
Yeah, I find that fascinating too. Of course, and the gay couple down the hall. Oh, watch her too. They've only known each other for a brief period of time, so this woman is not a very good mother at this point.
Yeah, I know. Always questionable parenting, and then like the kids out in the park all day, like, where is this mother? And anyway, I did like Tony, the one half of the gay couples who never speaks. Uh,
Yes, yes. I think that was probably the best part that any actor could ever have. You don't have to memorize any lines, just a.
mm, mm. Yeah, so it was fine. I actually legitimately finished this up about an hour or two before showtime. So
Whoa,
just I got
talking
it.
about cutting it close there, brother.
I knew I'd have time between work. That's why I said midnight special. Give me time to relax after work and finish this movie. So what do you think, man?
When I watched I maybe I had so many high hopes for this film for some reason. Don't ask me why. I just,
Why?
I don't know. I was just a big fan. I'm a big fan of Dave. I think that he's a good actor. He's getting better. This actually showed a little bit more of a range as well. I thought that his camaraderie was pretty good. He's showing that he can do a little bit more comedy. I think he's kind of like on the Rock's edge of I think of getting there. You know what I'm saying? Crossing over to a comedy to a straight action film all the time. I think it'll be interesting to see. But no, this film though, at the end of the day, like I said, I probably put it too high on a pedestal. I'll have to rewatch it again. But I was kind of disappointed with it. But it was still cute. It still held my attention. I thought the young girl, I guess her name's Chloe, right?
Chloe Coleman, I believe. Yeah,
yeah,
she's
Chloe
good.
Coleman. She's a very good, fine young actress coming up. And I think their chemistry together was pretty good.
Yeah, it definitely it elevates it a little bit. Like again, as I've said before on the show, if other actors had it, maybe I would have been even lower on this. But I enjoyed their chemistry.
Yeah, the only other person I could think in this part, other than Dave Bautista, and you can tell me if I'm crazy, but Jason Statham may have been actually pretty good alongside her. I think as
I don't know. Do you think he would have had the heart?
I
He's
think
got
he can.
charisma, and he's got kind of, but I don't know, and he's got kind of like a boyfriend vibe. I don't know if he has a fatherly vibe.
I think he has. I can't remember.
He was in that Franco movie, Homegrown or whatever. Am I making that up?
Yes, Homegrown. That's the one that I was thinking of, and I couldn't come up with the title right away. But you're correct. So he had a daughter in that one. So yes, that. But yeah, at the end of the day, though, I find that it was a decent film. It wasn't the greatest film, but again, it's watchable. It's good for the family. At the end of the day, and that's how I look at it. Me personally, I couldn't give it 4 stars if I wanted to, or 3 snowflakes or anything like that. But I did give it 2.5 snowflakes because it's a watchable piece of work, and it entertained me, and I did get a couple chuckles out of it.
I'm actually going to go a little higher. I am going to give it a 3. I think it succeeds in what it wants to accomplish here. I mean, looking at another wrestler, not that he not that he did bad, but like I really disliked John Cena's Fireman movie. Like I thought that one was like it was trying to hammer you with both the humor and hammer you with the feels, and it didn't work here. I thought everything just kind of worked enough for me. And so, like I said, I think maybe expectations might have helped me because I went in with less expectations than you did. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a 3. I think it works just enough to where, especially being on Amazon Prime for cheap/free, depending on if you already have the streaming service, perfectly fine. I know my father liked it, my niece liked it. I would imagine my other niece and brother have probably seen it as well. I'd imagine they liked it. So I think it succeeds in what it's trying to accomplish.
Okay, perfect. So you gave it a 3, I gave it 2.5, but we're not too far, really. Like I said, I probably would have given it a 3. Had I not put it so high up of my expectations list, because look, man, I wanted to see it over a year and a half ago, and I finally got to see it. I've been wanting to see it forever, and I said, "This is going to be a great movie. This is going to make some good money." We'll never know, really. But
yeah, who knows if this would have been, not saying that it should have been, but it would have been a bomb. Would have been a huge hit. Would this have helped propel Batista to the next level? Who knows, man? One of those weird. We'll never know.
So the next movie that we're gonna see, you've seen this one. I haven't seen this yet. We're gonna get a little high on this one, I believe, right? So what is this movie we're gonna talk about?
We're talking about The High Note. It's set in the dazzling world of the LA music scene. Comes the story of Grace Davis, a superstar whose talent and ego have reached unbelievable heights. It's one of those premises I don't totally agree with. Anyway, Maggie is Grace's overworked personal assistant who's stuck running errands but still aspires to her childhood dream of becoming a music producer. It's a weird childhood dream. I want to be a producer. Anyhow,
yeah, I don't want the glory. I just want the back end.
Not even a writer. Like it's just I want to be a producer. And what kids anyhow. Uh,
Well,
this
some have odd. But you know what? There wouldn't be accountants if somebody didn't say, you know what, I want to be an accountant when I grow up, right?
No, you're still wrong. No one says that. They just become it at some point. Like, or later on, like in college or high school, you go, oh, producing would be cool. But no one starts out saying, I want to be a producer. I don't know. This stars Dakota Johnson, Tracy Ellis Ross, Kelvin Harrison Jr., O'Shea Jackson, that's Ice Cube, June Diane Raphael, and Eddie Izzard. Not enough Eddie Izzard. He's barely in this. Um, so you didn't see this, right?
No, I did not want to take off the 20 off my pocket for this, but
Well,
I seems you did.
let's I don't
Oh,
want to say
okay,
how I
okay,
saw
I
it because I
understand.
have my ways because I
You had
was
your
not spending
friends.
20 on this either. So yeah, again, maybe using expectations because mine was actually low on this. I did not like the trailer, but again, I thought this was just it was again. There's a twist towards the end that I didn't like, but other than that, it's a pretty well acted. It's a fun, nice movie. Everyone's good in this. Tracy Ellis Ross. I wish it was more about her. It's really much about Dakota Johnson, and Tracy's the co-star. I would have liked a little bit more on Tracy herself because she's really good in this. Lead actress from Blackish. Um, Kelvin Harrison, man, fun seeing him in this role because I talked about him on Waves last week and Loose from last year. Fun seeing him in a nice straight like rom com kind of thing because he is super charming in this as well, showing great uh what do you say diversity in his acting credits now that he can also just be fun and charming. And I actually at first didn't even realize it was him because of just how
He's
charming he
always
is.
been
Have to
he's
do
always been the same way in most of the other films, but now he's
it's been very like these dramatic roles here that I saw him in, and like I said, they even both kind of had a bit of a connection of trying to live up to, well, those are that movies. The high note here. Um, so yeah, I had a smile on my face throughout most of it here. Again, kind of like the last movie, a little schmaltzy. It has an unnecessary twist at the end too, where I feel like they just did it simply to try to tug at the heartstrings more. Kind of an unlikely twist where it's like, oh, it's a little contrived, don't you think? And things are really piling on, and then finally, a quick change of heart from the characters, equals a nice happy moment. This kind of falls in line with the last movie. Do you have a question?
well, no, I mean this film though, of course it's on VOD, that people can get. But the thing is though, I would have watched this movie. I did like the trailer. I thought it was an interesting premise. But the thing is though, because it wasn't a theater and I couldn't get it on the Regal deal, that's the only reason why I kind of passed. And I think this might be one of those missed movie opportunities for people to. Is there any acting that we should know about, like that really maybe could be looked at, say, for the Academy if they ever wanted to? I'm just saying. I don't
No.
know. There's odd movies that have better actors that don't show up.
No, this is not that movie, man. This is like Pitch Perfect, but a little more grounded. Like this is no, this is just a very nice, simple, summertime comedy that like I said, again tries to have a little heart in it as well here. And no, yeah, this is not anything that they can was gonna remember. No, 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 you silly.
No,
Uh,
I could be, but like I said, there's films that might, how during this period that will be slipped under the underneath, and they may not be recognized. I don't know how the Academy is going to do this, this year. You know what I'm saying? They're postponing it, but how are they going to judge this year's crop of films? So does that mean that Nicolas Cage this year has about 5 opportunities to be nominated if he puts 5 VOD films out? You know what I'm saying? Does this open the door now for VOD to be nominated for things now?
yeah, I mean that's a whole nother discussion. I think it's too early to tell. We got to see, if we're coming back and if it actually stays back by late July. You still have obviously the whole fall, which is usually where you get majority of your contenders anyway.
Well,
And
Greyhound's coming out in July. With Tom Hanks, which is a big film, and people have been wanting to see this film. So I'm just saying though, that's where I'm going to get confused about. I think if you just say, okay, whatever was in the theater at that time, where you didn't have any theater. So this may, like I said, turn the Academy Awards upside down. These type of films, that have been already put out. I'm just throwing this out there. I know it has nothing to do with our films or anything, but that's just something that I've been thinking about lately.
I understand what you mean. Yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously I don't still have always been I forget about exactly how the Academy works. Like, like Irishman got nominated, right?
It did, but it played in theaters during a certain
Okay.
window. So
I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
obviously, you would think that they would change their rules at least this year, because there is no options for this. Although I don't know, has anything gone VOD that could have been nominated? Because this is
Well,
this and like most of them trolls are not going to be anyway.
well, Trolls could have been for best animated film. We do not know
No,
that. It's possible. It got nominated, I think, once, did it not already with a song? So before. So,
that's very different.
but no, it's an Academy Award nomination. That's now you're taking songs off the board. You're taking original things like that off the board. The
Oh,
King
I
of
just
Staten
meant
Island.
true, true, true. Okay, I see what you're saying. I just meant yeah, just a
I'm
song
just
could have been nominated for sure.
But that's what I'm saying. You might take things off the board that should have been on the board. King of Staten Island could have. I'm not saying that it would because I haven't seen it yet. But what I'm saying is there might have been, say, a generous nod towards somebody, that did perform that you didn't notice that performed that well. So you know what I'm saying? Things like that. But anyway, let's keep the show creaming down the road, driving down the highway. The next film we're going to talk about.
I could also give my rating on the last movie if you
Oh, I
want.
thought you did. I
No,
apologize. I just
no.
got crazy. I'm sorry.
We went off on a tangent about the Academy Awards for a movie that had no chance in hell.
I apologize, brother. You know that. It just bugs me sometimes.
No, it's I was kind of leaning towards this already with hints. It's in the My Spy category. It's 3. Some people have been giving it higher. This seems to have a very nice fan reaction. So I think some people might really enjoy it. I think you would enjoy it. So check it out when you can. When it's a normal like $5-6 rental, check it out. But it ain't $20 worth.
Yeah, it's not worth. I don't think it would be worth 20.
Most aren't.
But most movies are not worth 20, and I agree with you. Um, I'm gonna get a little villainous with you with the name of the movie, Villain.
Our transitions are very lacking, by the way.
we try. But anyway, the movie that we're talking about next is called Villain. It's with Eddie Franks as a former criminal who attempts to help his family by reconnecting with his daughter and clearing his brother's debt. Despite his efforts, he is drawn back into the criminal ways of life with devastating consequences, and they are devastating. Starring Craig Fairbanks, Robert Glenister, Zuko Hoyle, and Nicholas Aaron. This is a Saban film. I watched it due to the fact it was cheap, and it's not that bad actually. I bought it because it was actually cheaper to buy than to rent. And there you see Fairbanks right there on the poster. Yes, he's an older dude, but he comes out of prison. He finds out his brother has basically put himself in hock, stolen from the local gangster down the street, and he's just doing nothing but he just wants to run his pub basically and get back his life back on track. Again, trying to reconcile with his daughter, who basically has just completely disowned him, does not want to have anything to do with him. And that opens up another problem for him because of the boyfriend that she has. And at the end of the day, it is a very slow, steady pace for an hour and a half. I swear it was a 2-hour film, but it just that slow and plotting. But again, when it has its moments, it makes you stand at attention and you see it. And the character twists as well that happen. You just shake your head and you start yelling at the TV because you get kind of invested in this guy's you know trying to do the right thing, but everything that he does try to do goes completely just pear shaped, and it just keeps falling really hard. There's a scene where he owes, I think his brother owes $130,000, and so he gets at least he gets 25,000. Mind you, this is none of his debt. He's just trying to help his brother, and he gets together 25 large. The guy brings it to him. He says, "Look, next month we're going to have a great day at the pub. I'll bring that money back over to you the next month, another payment. I just want to just put this right here so we can at least be on certain terms." and he gets stabbed for his efforts and told this is just an interest payment. And you're like, oh my God, this is going to be a bad day from hell for this guy. And it is all the way through. I'm not going to ruin the ending, but it's a tragic ending for everybody involved. I mean, every character does not get away clean from this film. And like I said, though, it's a very good film. I picked it up. It's not worth the $7 to rent it. I picked it up for $4.99 to watch, to buy, because it was just a simple. I don't know what they did that day, sale. But it's very worth the watch if you get the chance to watch it. I gave it a three snowflakes. Like I said, it does play long to its hour and 37 minutes. It seems like it's 2 hours because sometimes the scene it just stays there. It's like you and I are just looking at each other, not saying a word for about 10 minutes. You know, that's what it feels like sometimes. But it's well worth the watch. It's not gonna get any prizes, as you say, but it's worth the investment to just sit there and watch something different. So.
Well, if you like a British action movie, there's one with Wade Barrett. Go check that out.
I was gonna watch that, but then I chose this one instead because I own this one. I didn't rent the other one. So. But have you watched it yet?
What? No, the Barrett one. No, I haven't. It's a sequel.
It's a sequel.
It's a sequel. There's two of them. The first one, he's Wade Barrett. The second one, he's Stu Bennett.
Oh well, have I seen the first one though? I don't remember. I don't know.
Yeah,
I have to watch both. Yeah, I have to watch
Vengeance,
both.
or I don't know, whatever it's called. I forgot.
Oh, Sniper 5 just came out, by the way, or 6 or
something. Oh, Sniper 42. I know.
They dusted off Tom Berenger. You know, I know we got other films, but you know, they dusted off Tom Berenger, and what I like about it, they dusted him off because the guy who plays the sniper in this is his quote son. So it's his son that he has to go and help now. I think that's kind of interesting. So.
Have you seen any snipers?
I saw the first 2.
Oh, okay.
I don't think
it's a movie I've seen on Blockbuster shelves my whole life. I've never seen any of them.
I didn't realize there were so many. I just thought there was like 1, 2. I go, oh look, it's a third one. Like no, you can buy all of them for like all 6 of them. And they're like, oh, that's way too many. Why would they make so many?
It's the action version of Tremors. There's a lot of them. Yeah.
Yeah, that's or the Marine.
Yeah, true. But at least I was gonna say at least those started off in theaters. But no, the Marines started off in theaters too. I forgot.
Well, the Sniper started off in theater. Marine started off in theater. Yeah, tons of them. The next film we got to talk about is an actual true story, I believe, that you have for us. It's what is it?
Next up is Brian Banks, an All-American football player's dreams to play in the NFL are halted when he is falsely accused of rape and sent to prison. This stars Aldous Hodge, Greg Kinnear, Sherry Shepard, Morgan Freeman, Zosha Rockmore. I was hoping you had this because I want to see how you were going to pronounce that. Melanie Lubert and Tiffany Dupont.
I pushed that off because I looked at it. I was like, thank God we kind of. Which one? Sasha?
Sasha?
Oh, is that the XOS? Sasha, right?
I thought it was Zosha, but maybe.
I don't know.
She's from the Mindy Project. She's the girl from the Mindy Project. Anywho,
okay.
She's the one that tells the lie. She's so aggravating in this because the girl that tells the lie just doesn't care. Like later on she tries to hook up with him, and and she's like, "Can we just let bygones be bygones?" Oh, you're so mad at her. She does it so well. Anyway, back to the main movie. Brian Banks here. Yeah, it's another movie that was recently released for free. I think they might still be free on Vudu and whatnot. This Just Mercy, they were reviewed several of them. So I checked this one out. Another really decently told true story here. Aldous Hodge is really good in the lead here. Greg Kinnear, who his whole firm is about trying to prove that these people were wrongfully convicted. And that actually was a fun. In the end, they showed several photos of other people that were wrongly convicted, and you see 16 years, 9 years, that they spent in prison, and they got it overturned in the end, which would be an interesting TV show. Greg Kinnear, get on it. Anyhow, this one, the only time it falls off for me is that there are moments where, like Just Mercy, I thought was wonderfully told. It was a big cinematic movie. This sometimes kind of felt like a made-for-TV movie. It got a little like schmaltzy and fantastical, like Morgan Freeman's characters in it very briefly, and then later on he sees them in like hallucinations here, and it's not totally, and it's totally about just one person's wrongdoing, where the other one was a grander story here. So there's some moments here that I feel like it doesn't quite get to the next level here. Some questionable storytelling methods here, but it's still it's a compelling story here. It's something obviously still happening to this day, that battle of who to believe and to find out the full story here. Because when you do deep dive into it, the way he got convicted, there was so much that wasn't questioned, and they just went with the other person here. So still a very gripping story here, worth checking out here. Hodge is very good. The connection with Kinnear that was pretty interesting here. So yeah, this one I'm gonna give about 3.5 here for Brian Banks.
Yeah, I've been fluttering over it on Prime, just back and forth on it. I was like, I got to be in the mood for these movies that are like unbelievably frustrating because of the justice system and how they screw people
Yeah,
over
it
sometimes.
is, man. Like I said, like Zosha does a really good job of like if you're angry at the way she is, and then she doesn't want to tell the truth because she got money out of the deal. So if she goes back on it, she might have to pay that money back, and so it's like it's that fun court trickery of like kind of trying to get them tricked into telling the truth and whatnot. And like you said, aggravating is a good word here. It stood on my I rented it and then had it saved, and I had 30 days to watch it. So then finally, I was like, all right, I got to watch it before it goes away because I don't want to not see it. But like you said, yes, go in the right mood, check it out.
Yeah, thank you. I will check that one out when I get a chance. I just gotta get in that mood. I gotta get in that mindset because, woo, I couldn't do
Tell
it.
me about this next film. It's the story of my life.
It's the story of my life too. It's called Looks to Kill. The story of a teenage boy who deals with the ups and downs of being lethally attractive in this American dark romantic comedy. Of course, what is it? It's a romantic comedy. It is Brandon Flynn, Julia Goldani Tellez, uh, Ki Hong Lee, who's from the 13 Reasons Why series. Monique Kim. By the way, I found Peter Scolari. He's in this film. And Anne Mumlo. Anyway, she plays the mom. Peter
Is
Scolari
this the
clearly
movie?
this is the movie, my friend. By the way, guess who bought this film and put it out?
Uh,
It's one that you and I see the trailer, we usually cringe. Gravitas Ventures.
oh, yeah, Gravitas.
Okay. Anytime we see Gravitas, we kind of get a little upset. This, by the way, is the best Gravitas film I have seen ever. To be
Wait, is
honest.
this the movie you're reviewing?
Yeah, not that one. No, that's If Looks Could Kill, and I've seen that one, and no, I did not want to watch that one again. But the
I'm
one with the
reviewing it next
bandages,
week.
yeah, the one with the bandages, that is the one that we're talking about. Basically, this is a great little show. If you haven't seen it yet, this kid is basically born out of when he comes out of the womb, the doctor looks at him and he goes, "What a beautiful baby," and then the next thing you know, he keels over dead. The nurses all die. This is how it starts. And then he's in a shrink's office talking about this. And as it progresses, he basically wants to live a normal life, but he has to have these bandages on, wears dark shades most of the time because no one wants to do anything. Because everywhere he goes, people seem to die when they see him. So this is just that little deal that has. And then he meets the love of his life, this girl. As he's trying to jump off the bridge, he's trying to jump off a bridge. She offers him a jelly bean, which I thought was kind of cute. And he looks down at the bag, and it's like this the blacks and the all the bad colors that no one likes in jelly beans. And she goes, "Yeah, I already ate all the good ones." And he goes, "So you're trying to tempt me with those jelly beans like that?" And she goes, "Yeah." It's a kind of a cute little thing. And so this is how it all starts. He falls in love with this girl who actually had time to talk to him, basically. Um, and so then they go on, and it's their relationship as time goes in. He has his best friend played by Kim Hong, Hong. I'm sorry, Ki Hong, and he tries to set him up with this girl that fails miserably. His mom then all of a sudden brings in a foreign exchange student to say, "Hey, look, we can set you up with a foreign exchange." He goes, "Mom, that's not how it works," So she brings him in. Yeah, and she's just a nut. And you kind of like her character briefly because she's just crazy. She's a rich Japanese girl who just doesn't want to be there, and she's living in this house of this medium income family, and she just doesn't want to be there at all. And Peter Scolari is pretty good as the dad who falls in love with a like almost like a Magic the Gathering type game in it, and his wife hates it. And but yeah, I find the chemistry between the two leads is just unbelievably good. I found it amazing that I don't know, I just stumbled across it the other night, and it just made me feel good when I watched it.
This is what, VOD? Where do you find this?
This is on your major VODs, your Vudu's, your Googles, your Amazons. I think I got it on Amazon Prime the other night, but you have to do the VOD on it. But yeah, because it's cheaper, I think, on Prime of all places. But yeah, it is well worth a watch. As you know, rom-coms are my deal, my jam, as it were. And it is I'm not going to ruin the ending because it may not suit everybody's ending, but the way it ended was pretty well suited for where it was pointed. I don't want to ruin any spoilers in this film because I believe it's just a fun way to watch it, and it's a great discovery. But yeah, at the end of the day, I gave this one, if I'm not mistaken. I just want to make sure I don't want to screw up my own rating on this one because I do have it written. I gave it four snowflakes. Very, very. I was thinking it was a toss up between 3.5 and 4, and I said, you know what, let me err on the side of my own heart, and I went 4. And like I said, it's just a different slant on a formulaic show. But again, it's not very formulaic by the way it ends, but it's just unbelievably good to watch. And going in with no real expectations, like you say, sometimes it does better for you when you do that. And so, like I said, 4 stars or 4 snowflakes for the looks to kill.
Interesting. That and the Richard Grieco movie, I'm interested in. So
The Richard Grieco, that will not do you any good. That don't even no favors, brother. No favors. That's like a 1.5 if you're lucky.
if you want to make it to episode 54, you stop trash talking Grieco this moment.
You know what? I think 53 is as far as I'm going.
All right, let's wrap up the movie reviews here for this week. I'm going to go now with Bullaloed. This is set in the underworld of debt collecting and follows the homegrown hustler Pig Doll, who will do anything to escape Buffalo and make some quick cash. This stars Zoe Dutch, Jai Courtney, Jermaine Fowler, Judy Greer, Noah Reid, and Brian Saka, who also co-wrote it, or I think wrote it actually fully. So Bullaloed, so I think we both said we've been interested in this for a little while now. I finally checked it out here, and I dug it, man. It's pretty fast paced. It starts off with her, just always trying to make some money, scalping tickets, then getting in trouble for that, and now she's on parole and she's trying to make that work. And comes the next scheme of debt collecting, and Jai Courtney, who I think is becoming a really fun, like kind of maybe not a lead guy, but he's really fun in these side characters. He plays such a good D-bag in this movie. He does it so well. He's so greasy. When obviously spoiler warning, when maybe he doesn't get his comeuppance, you're happy for it here. Saka's pretty funny, and he's the first guy that calls her, and he's kind of gives away a little bit too much information. She kind of tricks him into it. He's pretty funny in his couple of scenes here. So there's some stuff that kind of keeps it from being great here. I like Jermaine Fowler, but at the same time, I didn't totally buy their relationship, and unfortunately, it felt kind of rushed. Between that love relationship felt kind of was just thrown in. Judy Greer doesn't get much to do here as the mother. She's kind of just there throughout most of it here. And some stuff doesn't totally leave you fulfilled and connected here. But for the most part, I thought it was a pretty fun ride. Zoe, who I thought was the scene stealer in Zombieland this year, Zombieland 2, Double Tap, I think really does good in this. She was in that rom-com from the Office rom-com last year that I keep forgetting the name of with Lucy Liu.
Yeah, it takes two, I think, or something like
Does
that.
it?
Or
That doesn't sound right. That might
no,
be
it
it,
doesn't
but who
sound right.
knows?
No, it doesn't
Uh,
sound right.
but anyway, she's good in this. She's again, it's a kind of role where you don't always like the character, not that you're supposed to, but you like her because of her. You know what I mean? Even when she is screwing people over. Uh, so
Set it up, I think. Set it up.
yeah, there you go. The
There
setup,
you
set
go.
it up. Yeah.
Yeah, I had to look it up real quick.
Um, so yeah, 3.5 stars for me here. You know what I mean? It's a fun, it's a good watch over there on the VOD.
Yeah, that's great. I still haven't. I still have plans to watch it. I
Yeah.
haven't had a chance yet, but I will take a chance. Trust me to see that. What we're going to talk about next is our great thing that we've. I still love this segment. It's just good fresh air, and it's not just mine. But yes, it's the TV shows of the day. The TV show talk is up next. The
It's a
first one we're
TV
talking.
show.
Ooh, I like that. Let's do that again.
It's a TV show talk.
There you go. Anyway, the first one we're going to talk about is Doom Patrol makes its season 2 review return on the DC Network and HBO Max. Yes, I have to bring that in there because they are sharing. But Doom Patrol is back. You can watch the first 3 episodes of the season. And next, if you have to wait now for a week to come in, it just picks up right where it left off from the last season. And to me, they're still doing what they can do with this show, make it more and more interesting each and every time. I just love it. Right now they're each show. There's Dorothy, that's Timothy Dalton's daughter in this show, and we find out that's who she is, along with a great Brendan Fraser again, and right there center mass. He is still going through the trials and tribulations of having to deal with him being a robot now and just a brain in a big metal suit. And we're still getting together. We're still getting to know everybody in this cast and the pieces of the puzzle. And this is probably the best cyborg I think I've ever seen, or ever hoped to see in a show. Yeah, it's very low rent if you were to say for a lot of the effects, but it's very practical and it's worth seeing. But yeah, so far I saw all three of the episodes, and I can't wait for next week. And we're gonna have a good time because if I'm not I can't remember the name of the Danny, I believe, is coming back. And if you don't remember who Danny is, it was the disappearing village of Free Spirits. The gay community slash anyone who needed to hide, he would give them shelter. That cast and cavalcade is coming back on the next episode. So yes, that's gonna be fun. I can't wait to watch that episode. So yeah, Doom Patrol is still holding strong more than Teen Titans season 2 did. This one is right now doing very well for me. 3 episodes in, can't wait for the 4th. So that's a good thing. The
I
next
just started season 1 and it's pretty good.
it is, isn't it? I mean, if you watched Teen Titans, did you watch Teen Titans yet? The Titans show?
I was gonna say, you mean just Titans? No,
Yeah.
that one I've never started.
Well, if you go into it, they do a
You do.
yeah, I know, where they have Beast Boy and they bring in Doom Patrol in an episode. So just watch that one if you want to, because to me that helps set this all up to a point where you got to see a little bit of this and a little bit of that for the characters, and it's well worth to even watch that episode. The next show is called Home Game. I'm only in 4 episodes. Yeah, 4 episodes in on this one. The 4th episode is Roller Derby. And what this is, Home Game, is basically sports from around the world, things that we've never heard of. That picture right there, I don't remember the name of that sport, but that is basically a sport between rugby and MMA and soccer. It's like 27 dudes on a field, and they're throwing rights and lefts, breaking each other's appendages. It's unbelievable. It's like a prison riot has broken out, and they score, with balls. And then right after, I think the second episode after that is the Highland Games. The third one is deep sea diving. The fourth one, like I said, was roller derby. I think episode 5 or 6, they're going to talk about voodoo and wrestling. It's going to be interesting. They talk about
I've
wrestling.
seen Vice did some stuff on that, so that would be an interesting episode. Trust me, that
Yeah,
will be interesting.
yeah. So it looks pretty interesting.
Are all the
It's on.
episodes out now?
Yes, they're all up on
I will
Netflix
watch
right
the
now.
voodoo one.
That's going to be like I think episode 5 or 6. No, I think it's 6 because the fifth one is something else I'm coming up to watch. But yeah, to me it's fascinating. I just love little docu series like this. It shows things that I have never heard of to light. I've heard briefly about the deep sea diving deep sea, basically a dive where you basically hold your breath and go as far as down as this one guy went down like 24 stories deep. And you're like, what? How he holds his breath that long, and then they talk about what could go wrong with these dives. Where people get the bends, or somebody just all of a sudden they start bleeding out their mouth or their nose. And even in the Highland Games, it's a very interesting thing. Everyone who competes in these are very nice to each other. So it seems like it's a nice competitive sport, but also at the end of the day, everyone seems kind of friendly, and no one gets disjointed out of anything. So yeah, if you want to watch a film of this documentary of like a sports doc, this is something to watch. It's like I said, I love docu-series. I do, I'd be watching anything that's kind of documentary style. This is worth watch for me on Netflix. So it's called Home Game. So the next one is you, brother. Is Twilight Zone season 2 coming out on CBS app?
Yeah, buddy. CBS All Access Twilight Zone is back. Thank you, CBS, for giving me an email saying, "Hey, you missed me. Here's a free month just in time for Twilight Zone." So thank you, CBS. You know me well. I don't have to pay for this. So season 2 is back. Season 1, as I said, was a little bit of a mixed bag. Started off strong, lost me a little bit in the middle, ended kind of strong here. So far, again, maybe expectations. I don't know. Season 2, I'm pretty on board here. I don't know if anything's blown me away, but I've had fun with all of them. Meet in the Middle is a really interesting one. Jimmy Simpson is hearing voices in his head, or a voice in his head, and they kind of start falling in love. It almost reminded me of Her with Joaquin Phoenix and Scarlett Johansson, obviously with a little bit of a dark twist at the end there. Downtime, we're in a backer in, is maybe in like a role-playing game. She's not quite sure what's going on, what's the truth or not. That one's quite good. Some great acting. Who of You as my body switching, and so different actors get to play different characters all throughout it, which was pretty good.
Is that Billy Porter?
Yeah, Billy Porter's in it. This one's got a big one. Billy Porter, Ethan Embry is really good in this.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to think. What's my buddy from Last Man on Earth? Mel Rodriguez is really funny in this one as well. Several actors, and they all get to switch bodies. So someone else acts like Billy Porter at one point. Ethan Embry, I think, does, and so it's pretty fun. I like this one a lot. Ovation, about a struggling singer, reminded me a lot of the Kumail one, where it was instead of a struggling comedian and the kind of ways of fame with him, it's now a struggling singer. So I was like, a little bit kind of what we saw already, but very well acted by Jernay Smollett. And then this last one, I really liked the twist of this one, probably my favorite twist of the series so far, Among the Untrodden, about girls in like a boarding school and maybe some witchery stuff going on here. So
did they drop all the season at one time?
Yeah, everything's out. No, everything's out there. Season 2 is all done in once now, and I'm sure by the time we come back next week, because I've already been through 5 in the last few days, I'll probably have the rest of it finished up. You see Joe McHale's in the next one, Topher Grace, episode 9. So I'm having a good time so far here, man. Like I said, I don't know if anything's blown me away, but at the same time, I thought they've all been, nothing's disappointed me either. So I'm enjoying it.
Okay, that's good to hear because I do have the access as well. I haven't watched that yet, but I've watched other shows, but not that one as of yet. So that's good to know that they drop all the series. So I haven't watched season 1, so I'll watch season 1.
Yeah, and you can watch season 1 in black and white if you're interested.
Oh, that might be interesting. I like the black and white stuff, so that'll be perfect. What else we got for us, boss? What else you got? You got one more on your list.
I just got a stand-up special for you, man, and this one maybe breaks my heart. Eric Andre legalized everything on Netflix. Um, Let me give you a reenaction of what this entire special is. Yeah, penis. So that's the entire special here. I like Eric Andre. He had, of course, the talk show, which is just meant to torment guests on Cartoon Network, which I enjoyed. But you know what I didn't like on that show at all? His bits on the street. I just thought it was just random. It would just be him just doing nasty, horrible things, trying to get a reaction, and that's what this is. This is not some funny, well-written comedy. And you know me, I love stand-up comedy. I think I've given every special I've reviewed on here. I think I've given a pretty good score to because I applaud people for trying it, doing good at it, getting specials. But this like he gives up on bits sometimes. I swear there's setups with no punches. He has a couple corny jokes where you've heard it 1,000 times. The setup, it's there isn't anything well written here. The funniest bit is probably at the end where he prank calls someone's mom, but that's just funny in its own right. Like it's not well written at all. It just happens to be kind of funny here. Um, Goes for the simplest kind of out there joke, bukkake, penis, everything you can just kind of think of. It it's that weird kind of just random millennial humor. And I know I'm a youngster kind of sort of still, maybe a tiny bit. And I just know I hate to say this is probably the worst special I've seen in a long time, especially that I've ever talked about on this show here, man. I really did not like this thing.
No, I see Eric Andre, and I never like this show that much anyway. So it's I know he has a new movie coming out later on this year with Tiffany Haddish, correct? With
Yeah, and that one, yeah, it's half. It looks like kind of like Bad Grandpa, where part of it is a story, but then part of it is just
yeah,
pranks on real life people. Yeah,
yeah,
him, Haddish, and Little Ro.
yeah. So yeah, I do hate stand up that just takes or tries to be the easy way, the easy cheap laugh, without really developing anything. Kind of like your comedy as well. But no, I'm playing. I love your comedy.
At this point, I deserve a special. No, yeah,
Yeah, I think if he has a special, you deserve at least a two special deal. Instead of him
uh,
at this
yeah,
point.
like, I don't even know if he is a normal stand-up comedian. I wouldn't be surprised to find out he's not a normal stand-up, and this is just because he's been on now movies and TV and had his own show. Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to give this thing, I can maybe give it a 1 because I did laugh a couple times. But other than
Well,
that,
yeah,
yeah,
it's good to say that. Just stay away from it. You're probably best just to go to the next special down the road. By the
there's
way,
plenty on Netflix, man. There's plenty on
who's
Netflix.
the
So
who is okay? And then again, I don't like to get into the news that are early in the day. But who is the one guy that you said was funny, but I don't really like, and he's now being investigated.
oh, Crystalia.
Yes, Crystalia.
Yeah, of course. Unfortunately, yeah, we'll do a little bit of news right now since you brought it up. Yeah, Crystalia is under investigation for some not so great things. Um, it's been pretty sad to hear all his friends on podcasts too, kind of being very, just enchanted. Whitney Cummings. There's really sad ones with Bobby Lee and Brian Callen as well here. So,
Hmm.
I mean, I don't know. It's horrible to hear whenever something comes out, but it's good to know now rather than later. And
Yeah, before somebody actually does get, if they haven't already been really physically hurt. You know what I'm saying? I don't
yeah.
know what's real and what's
Well,
not
just,
real.
yeah, as long as no one else now, hopefully will get hurt. And
Yeah.
if everything's true, then hopefully there's legal action. And I don't know. It's
Yeah,
disheartening to hear. He definitely had a fan base. I know my brother was a big fan. He just had a role on that show You that a lot of people love on Netflix. He was in this season on a good chunk of it. And yeah, so I know he
even
just had that special a month ago.
yeah, even that star on You has said, "Holy crap! I don't want anything to do with him. If we can avoid him in the
Yeah,
future, it'd be better." So let's just get back on track. I apologize. I just threw that out there because I thought about it all of a sudden, and yeah, we'll talk more about it in the news because there's other things almost developing in that same spectrum that I want to jump into as well. But what are we doing now? We're doing the top 10 70 films, man. The top 10 19. Hey, Avery. Look at see Avery has made his appearance. He has his list. Do you have your list? I have my list. So we all three have our list.
Pet
And
Cemetery.
yeah, that's oh no, Avery. It did come out in the 70s.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, hey.
It could have. I don't know about the book, but I know it did come out. But anywho, we're going to talk about our top 10 films of the 70s. I had a lot of honorable mentions I'm not going to talk about because there's too many. And you know what? And there's one behind you that I want to put on the list. I just, oh, it's so hard. So it was so hard, this whole thing. But it wasn't my favorite of the 70s. Okay. And I wasn't, I grew up, I was not, I missed the 70s basically. I was in the latter part when I grew up. So I was like 4 by the time it was over. So the first film, can I just go with the first film, or do you have any honorable mentions that you want to throw out there? We're talking about a
Nah.
lot of films.
I mean, I can name at least 6 that I felt bad for leaving off, man. But no, we'll do our normal 10. Let's start off, buddy. Tell me your number 10.
My number 10, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Steven Spielberg, and it's not the only one that's on the list. But I got to tell you, this film, I still remember him, Richard Dreyfuss, the haunting music, and that just being played over and over and over again. And then him making the mashed potato tower in the middle of the the dinner table, a humongous mashed potato tower. And then the next thing whenever they do 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 do, and then boom, and you're like, oh wow. And it was just an unbelievable, ahead of its time to me. It's better, better than ET, for when it comes to First Contact, type of film. Yeah, ET is good. Don't get me wrong, but it's not the same year, so we're good. This is the '80s. We're good. But yeah, Close Encounters of the Third Kind is my number 10. Richard Dreyfuss, Steven Spielberg film.
That's your number 10. I was gonna try to do a reenactment of my number 10, but these glasses are too heavy, so I'm just gonna do this. Warriors, come out and play. I can't do it with one hand. Those glasses are heavy. Um, oh yeah, my number 10 is Warriors from. Let's see, I have years on here. 1979. I have a couple from 79. Or no, I lied. I do. I have 3 from 79. So it just squeaked in, baby.
I
Uh,
know. Some of mine did too. I mean, I was like in the latter parts of the '70s, and some just maybe early '70s. Nothing in the mids that often, but
Interesting enough, everything of mine is mid to late 70s, except for one. There's one in the first half of the decade. Everything here is the last half. Just happened to be how it is. So yeah, the Warriors. They just really fun film, really 70s gritty film. There's always been talks of remaking it, but I've always felt like if you remake it, I don't know, man. I like that it's from the '70s and it has that feel and that look, and all these different gangs and the one gang getting framed, and it's a fun point A or point B, gritty fun film.
well, see, I think it is. If you redid this film, it would be a little harder to do because you have cell phones now and you got all this technology. Whereas back then, you
You'd have
didn't
to
have
make
any
it
of
in
this.
the '70s. You'd have to set it in the '70s. Yeah.
Yeah, you get those payphones you got to be
Just
bugging with and shit
oh
like
no,
that.
they're on to us. Uber. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I got to get away. Hold on a second. My lift will be here in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I got 5 minutes at least.
So
You know. Hold on, we'll just drop our pedal further down the road, for them to pick us up. But no, that's a good choice actually. I didn't make mine. It wasn't part of the honorable mentions list, which is huge. But number nine though is it makes me laugh every time I watch it. Um, and it's always just a flesh wound at the end of the day. Monty Python and the Holy Grail. That one actually was in late '70s as well. Fabulous comedy. To me, it set the bar for great slapstick. Um, and just Monty Python at its grandest. Life of Brian is later on down the line for me, but this one though, Monty Python: The Holy Grail, Beware of the White Rabbit. You name it, it's always there in the clippity cloppities of the coconut shells on those imaginary horses. Um, love it. My family likes it. It's one of our favorite films throughout our generations. That's one thing that we can all bond on. The Holy Grail, Monty Python.
dude, I love it, and I will be talking about it pretty soon here because it's obviously on mine. I ruined it already. My number 9. It's a weird one, but and again, it's such a '70s film, but I love it, and I love the premise. Number 9 is Logan's Run from 1976. Here,
Yes.
um, this is one that could be remade just because there are some stuff where you're like, wow, man, you didn't have the budget, or you had the budget of the 70s. But it's a unique premise. It's visually interesting here. That's why, again, I feel like we took the right director who had a visionary mind. Um, Villeneuve, maybe who's doing the new Dune. I don't know, but anywho, this one here, it's a really interesting premise of like, was it a certain age? They promise you maybe like a great netherworld, but it ends up being they're just killing them off, and they're trying to escape here. And yeah, it's a really wacky, fun, interesting, with a little dark at times film here, man.
Yeah, I like that. I think Logan's Run could be remade. I'm with you on that. Because it's almost it's just one of those things you can remake and not have to worry about what time of the year it is or what kind of
Yeah,
decade.
'cause you set it in a distant or a different, future world.
Yeah. My number eight. It's just a step over there to the left and then a hop over to the right. It's the Rocky Horror Picture Show, my good boy. Yes, the whole film. I still remember when I first watched it. I was, oh God, I can't remember. I was probably about 10 when I watched it. Of course, that's very young for a movie that has a transvestite as its lead. And there is a scene. I think it was my mom said, "Okay, fine, let's watch it." And the people at the video store at the time were saying, really? You want them to watch that film? And she goes, yeah, why? Is it wrong? She goes, no, it's a classic, but we just don't know if he's going to be old enough to watch it. She goes, I'll watch it with him. Turned out I could only watch probably the first 15 minutes at the time, whenever it first ever came, whenever I was able to watch it at one time, because it was whenever Tim Curry gives Bostwick a blowjob, basically, in the film he's about to try to do that in the film, and my mom was like, "Okay, well, we're enough. We're done. We're done." And I was like, "But mom, it's starting. It's funny." And she's like, "We're done." And so I had to wait a couple more years to watch about another 4 years before I could watch that again. But yeah, when I watch it, it's just a great musical, great Broadway show. Brought to life. It's probably one of I'll be talking about another one that was Broadway as well that came across onto the screen a lot better than some people would have imagined. So yes, the Rocky Horror Picture Show. I still remember that Susan Sarandon, and them, pulling over at the middle of the night, and he's just getting in there, and he's thinking this is his girlfriend, and it's Tim Curry, and it's fantastic.
Are you ever interested in seeing it live? Like, they do it live all the time.
I've never seen it live. If I do, I'm sitting in the back. I don't want people to throw toast at me or squirt me with bottles.
You're no
Um,
fun, man.
I just don't want to get dirty when I watch a show.
I want to
But
sit
I
right
will
in the back.
go. How about this? What if all health goes well in the near future and it shows, I will be there. You will be there. We will go.
We'll check out. That'll be fun here, man. My number eight is Stepford Wives,
Oh,
1975. I saw this with my mom back on VHS back in the day. She was a fan of it. Really, again, a darkly comical tale. This one actually has been remade with Nicole Kidman. They missed kind of the boat on it to a degree because I feel like they went too comical. But this one has some dark humor to it as well here, some good mystery as well. Basically, the men are just, they want their wives just to be wives, housewives, and all of a sudden they start turning, and it almost reminded me of Westworld. And I enjoyed this one, man. Stepford Wives, fun, dark comedy, from the 70s here.
no, I agree with you. It was watching that one and comparing it to the other one that they made. I think was Bette Miller was in that too. I believe.
Yeah, we had
Uh,
Bette Midler, and yeah, then I did like that they updated a little bit by having a gay character that they tried turning to.
Yeah, yeah. But I just find it though. Some classics, you got to keep with the stay with it, to a point. That one, again, you can always try to remake some of these. It just won't work in today's society. And speaking of a movie that would not work in today's society, is number 7 on my list, Blazing Saddles. Mel Brooks' finest western ever made. It's if you ever watch, I believe it's Botchmania. Oh, here comes Mongo. That has the old saying in there. Also, just the great time where he just cold cocks the horse. And just knocks him out. To me, it's the favorite scene is when they're all sitting around the campfire eating their pork and beans. and it's just a fart fest around the fire, you know. And it's just hilariously funny. Of course, there are some words that you shouldn't be using in that film, but again, different times, different ways. So you can't ever say anything negative because it's comedy and it was supposed to be comedy and they used it as comedy. And it was just a great movie. If you want to watch a good comedy, that is the film. Blazing Saddles came in at my number 7.
Very nice, very nice. My number 7, arguably, it's had many sequels. It's had reboots and whatnot. Arguably, they've never been as good as this one. Number 7 is Superman from 1978. Christopher Reeve here. To me, and sometimes I'm a little bored by Superman. I like Batman. He's got the dark parents murdered history. But when you're looking at just if you want a superhero film that you can watch with your kids or just have a nice time, if you're looking for something lighter, this is it. This is the American Superman with the fun Lex Luthor with Gene Hackman. I miss you, Gene. Come back. This is it's a fun time here. This is the kind of iconic Superman you think of still to this day here. Superman, man, just the OG and maybe never passed. So unless you
And
count.
I think I might be talking about him a little later as well. So that'll be let's see. That's what I like. Look, we're gonna have some overlaps, but we're not overlapping like on the same movies so far right away. So, but yeah, Superman at number 7 for you. Number 6, the grease is the word, and the word is grease. The movie is Grease. I got chills. They're multiplying. I got 4 feet on the floor and waiting at
Tell
the
me
door.
more, tell me more. Did she put up a fight? That's kind of rapey, but all right.
Well, she did, but I put her in her place. No, you want a hickey from Kaniki? I'm here for you. Yeah, it was just a great movie, fun film.
Was it Love at First Sight?
Yes, it was Love at First Sight. It's just so much fun to watch. Uh, Beauty School Dropout is a great show, great song. Uh, if you read the lyrics, I read them one day at work, and I was like, "Wow, I didn't realize he was calling her a whore in that song." But yeah, read them. And but it's so good. At the end of the day, John Travolta, Olivia Newton-John, even Jeff Conaway, and a few others. Who else? Who else is in that one? But yeah, like I said, though, I enjoyed it. This was another one of those films my mom actually made me watch one time, and as soon as I watched it, I thought it was fun as hell, and so many good songs to watch and listen to. So yes, that it'll hold a good place in my heart. Grease. Don't watch Grease 2 because the only song in that whole thing that's kind of catchy is "We're Gonna Bowl Tonight," and that's pushing it. That's pushing it. We're gonna bowl tonight, okay? And that's Michelle Pfeiffer as well in that film. But yeah, we're talking about the original Grease with John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John. They tried to capture it again with Two of a Kind. Did not work. So anyway, go for it, my friend. What is your number? What are we at? Number 6? Number 6. Number 6.
Number 6 is Grease 2. No, it's fine. I don't even know if that is a 70s film. My number 6 is another one squeaking in at 1979. Little lady right above me, Alien, 1979. Her and that cute little kitty cat. Yeah, man. I mean, the first two, undoubtedly, there's no argument. If you think anything but the first two are the best, you don't know movies. Alien and Aliens, which they're different. This one is that slow burn horror film, almost like Jaws. You don't see the alien at first, then you finally see it in its glory, and it's great practical effects here. Great caster too. We mentioned, of course, the Ian Holm, R.I.P. to him last week. Him in this, John Hurt. What was it? Tom.
Oh, I'm awful.
Not Berenger, is it?
No, it's not Berenger. No, it's not Berenger.
Good cast, nonetheless.
Yeah, well, no, it is a good cast. It's pretty decent.
And there's a reason why we're still asking for sequels to this day here, because I think we're always trying to capture the magic of the first two here. Sigourney Weaver kicking ass as Ripley.
That's exactly the truth right there. You just said it right there on the nose. We got to see Sigourney Weaver as a kick-ass woman who we've never seen. I think she was one of the very first kick-ass women of film.
Yeah.
And
it was surprising at the time, especially that she's the one that lived. I think probably she's the one that helped coin the phrase "final girls" because of all these tough big men, she's the one that lives and kind of outsmarts and stays alive
Oh,
till the end.
absolutely. And again, it did not make my top 10. Like I said, I've left off some big ones on top 10, but there's reasons because I just like my top 10 because they have sentimental reasons. My number five, again, my mom played a big, heavy part of my 70s films, it seems, because this one I watched because she basically wanted me to watch it. Scared the bejesus out of me. To this day, I cannot watch this film with the lights off. The Exorcist. I cannot watch it at all with the lights off. It's one of those films that really gets me. Linda Blair in her 360 head, piece, piece smitten body. It just scares the hell out of me. Great practical effects, puppetry, everything about it. Just the story. I don't know. There's something about watching those type of films that scare the Jesus out of you. And it does. To this day, I'm very ungrateful for watching.
What's behind you?
There's nothing but Ponce de Leon and my puppet. But yeah, it's in my donkey somewhere. If you want to, there we go. Donkey's right behind me. But yeah, what about you? Who's that behind you? Who's that? Is that the Godfather? The Godfather. But no, but yeah, I gotta say no, that is the thing. My number five is The Exorcist, a great scary film. If you want to watch it, still holds up to this day.
Right on, my man. I don't know if this is the one that's for now. My number five is, but my number five at her time, because I don't want to use both. I want to talk about more movies. I'm actually going to go with Rocky 2 from 1979 with good old Sly Stallone here. I just thought the Rocky 2 just it perfected some of the minor flaws, both in quality of film and story that the first one had here. Just a little bit of a tighter film here. A little bit of even better acting from Sly Stallone here. Rocky 2, my number five here. It's a great sports movie. It's one that I've actually only saw a few years ago, right, probably around the Creed time. So it's not even one that I've grown up with, but it's one that I can still respect and admire in the blueprint for montage and so much more.
Yeah, I believe I saw Rocky 2 before I saw Rocky 1, which is weird to say that. But you see Rocky 2, then you saw Rocky
I saw
3.
Rocky Balboa number 6 before I saw any of them.
Geez, okay. That's a long time. That's most recent, right? Rocky Balboa.
Yeah, before the Creed ones, yeah.
Yeah, and then you could get bogged down at number 5 with the Tommy Morrison ones. But yeah, you got Rocky 2.
I have never seen 4 or 5.
Yeah, 4 is good. That's because Dolph Lundgren. He's in the Russians. That was back in the day. He's beating up a Russian, made you feel good back in the day. But yeah, I'm with you on that. Rocky 2 is better than Rocky 1. So I agree wholeheartedly. My number 4, I was born a poor black child, is the way it all starts, and that is The Jerk. It is the greatest Steve Martin film of all time. I love it that even my older brother and I just talked about it just recently, and we both cracked each other up just talking about how he had to settle a lawsuit with the with the glasses that made everybody cross-eyed because how you pick them off. It was like the butterfly over the bridge of the nose, and so everybody's eyes were getting all cross-eyed, and he had to settle out, and so he had to write all these people. I think it was like $1 million or something like that in fees, but he wrote a check out for $1, so he wrote a check to 1 million people for $1 or whatever the settlement was, and he lost all his money. It's just such a fabulous film. Steve Martin, to me is just oh God, he's such a legend for comedy and just skits and everything about it. But yeah, that movie to this day makes me laugh every time I see it. Even like you saw me just right now thinking about the butterfly thing and the people getting cross-eyed. It's just funny as hell. And whenever he wakes up and he's all excited because he can actually move to the rhythm. He's a white guy who has been adopted by this black family, and basically he finally finds rhythm and he wakes up the whole household. Look, I'm tapping with rhythm, He's like, and everyone's like, good for you, And it's just a great show. It holds up. It's so great. So The Jerk is my number 4.
That's a good one, man. That's one of my honorable mentions that hurt me to leave off, but it didn't quite get into my 10. But I have no argument here. It's a really great movie. Um, my number four again is close nearby. Star Wars: A New Hope from 1977. There you see the beautiful Princess Leia trying to stroke her cheek. Um, this starts off the whole original trilogy, of course. Here, it does get better. If this was Empire, if this was the '80s, it might be even higher on the list. But it's still not a bad spot here. This is where you first meet, of course, all the characters you come to love: Han Solo, Luke, Leia, her, Chewie. It's still really fun,
Obi-Wan.
huh?
Obi-Wan.
Oh yeah, Obi Wan. Oh, he's more fun later. That's something he's an old man here.
Well, you get to introduce him now. You know, that's
Yeah.
okay. You go
Poor
and learn to love.
Alec Guinness, who I think did not want to be there.
No, he did.
But yeah, this starts off everything, man. This is a worldwide phenomenon here. We're gonna to the day we die, we'll be seeing Star Wars movies being produced. So this is why this kicks off everything.
And by the way, this movie did not make my top 10. I'm being honest. I like it. It wasn't my favorite one out of the bunch. I did watch it, and I've watched it over and over and over again. But I'm just gonna say they just didn't make my top 10, and I feel bad about it. I feel kind of weird about it that I didn't have it in my top 10. But oh well. Um,
Your heart.
Number three, we talked about already. Up and away, Mr. Superman, Mr. Reeves is the Superman of all time. And like you said, this one is just it's a little longer than most. It's not. It doesn't have a lot of flying if you really look at it. There's not a lot of Superman in this film, but it is. It's not as part two is better than part one. Well, I'll give you that because that's just whenever we meet Zod and everybody else. But part one is a great setup film. It's a fun film. We learn he goes back in time with this film. You know how you can rotate the Earth and stuff like that. It's just like I said, it's Christopher Reeve at his greatness, and God love him. He was such a great Superman, and I like this up to date Superman as well. Not Zack Snyder's version of him, but I do like Henry Cavill, his version very much. Who I wish they would just keep him forever. But again, Warner Brothers doesn't know what they're doing because I don't know why. Anywho, but yeah, number three, Superman is my number three.
Well, we both are doing repeats here because my number three, we're going back to Monty Python, The Holy Grail, 1975 here. This thing is just hilarious. It holds up here. What a great group of guys there at the center of the characters. Was it Tis But a Scratch? I had that T-shirt. Used to love it.
Flesh wound. It's a flesh
Flesh
wound,
wound,
my
sorry,
friend.
flesh wound. I knew I had it wrong. It's very late.
That happens. Yeah.
The Knights Who Say Me. You mentioned the Cloppity before here, man. Just so many great bits here. Iconic guys. Yeah. What can you say about the Holy Grail here? It's very near and dear to my heart. Doing this list was hard, but I knew that was going to be my five, probably just because I absolutely love and adore this one.
Yeah, and like you said, they're just a great group of guys. John Cleese and all them, just unbelievable, just talent, and they're visionaries, I think, for comedy. And we see still some of that stuff today. What they did, we still see it being played out in most comedies today. Very good comedies. I'm going to say good comedies, not bad ones. My number two, one of my favorite films of all time, scares me. I don't really like the beach because of it. It's because Jaws might be living in those waters. Jaws, Robert Shaw. We talked about his great grandson, picking up an enormous foul. But Robert Shaw, a hell of an actor. There's a scene, I believe, when they're all talking about their scars. Do you remember that? And whatnot with Roy Schneider and Richard Dreyfuss.
Dreyfus, yeah.
Yeah, and they're all sitting around in that scene. Now, I read somewhere that Shaw came to set drunk during one of these scenes, and he apologized profusely. And it was during the time. It was also that scene where we all found out he was part of the Indianapolis. And now that I've seen that scene, knowing there was another scene behind it, you know what I'm saying, where he came in drunk, didn't know his lines, didn't know anything. He came in completely church sober, and they said that he nailed it in one scene. That is how good of an actor, Robert Shaw was. For just that type of, that one scene, he was great throughout the whole film because he was just that surly, cantankerous sea dog, who just believes he can take on the world. And basically, Jaws was his Moby Dick. And but yeah, what was great about that film was just not being able to see the shark. And I'm glad that we never got to see the shark until the end. And that's that was a saving grace, because if you watch all the other Jaws, you get to see more of the Jaws shark. It's like later on you get to see more like the deep sea, those other films like the Meg and all that other stuff. They show the shark too much. I think that the thing that's more scary is when you don't see it, and I think that's why I like Jaws, and that's why it still holds up to this day. Not only is it a good story, it's just a great executed film.
Well, my man, I wanted to say ditto because my number two,
No.
ditto is Jaws, 1975 here. Everything you just said here, like you said, which the scuttlebutt is that they were having problems with the shark, and there was plans to show more of the shark, but kind of a grace of God of, they were having problems, so they had to be kind of creative about it. Which led to the tension and everything, and iconic lines, and we're gonna need a bigger boat. I actually just saw it today on the newsstands. There's a magazine right now on the newsstands. It's like the whatever anniversary of Jaws, the whole magazine dedicated to it. What a film! I mean, there's a reason. Again, there's never been anything as good as it since. There's some horrible sequels, but you can't deny the powerfulness of this first one here. There's a reason I missed the ride at was it Universal. It's gone now.
I did that at least.
Did that several times myself. Always fun. Very hot because of fire. But yeah, Jaws. I'm with you, man. Jaws is number two for me.
Hey, also a good quote is, "Here's the swimming with bow-legged women." I
You say
love
that on
that.
a daily basis.
I say that every day. I wake up every morning. Here's the swimming with bow-legged women, everybody. My number one, it's not a secret. I think what my number one could be. I talk about it all the time. I love it. Um, I think it was done in '76, if I'm not mistaken, the year that our savior James was born. Um, Smokey and the Bandit, the best film, the first Fast and Furious film, I would like to say, is what it is. Because to me, it just had a great cast. Uh, Jackie Gleason, Jerry Reed, Sally Field, Burt Reynolds, unbelievable, a very few cast. And I've always told you that I want to make a reboot of this film. Uh, but make it more of a generational thing, for me. But yeah, I want to do a reboot so badly of this movie. I already have every ounce of it scripted, of how I want it to go. But yeah, it's just a great movie. Um, I watched the making of this movie as well. I mean, they had like a documentary about this film, and turns out Jackie Gleason said he would never work with, Burt Reynolds ever again. He says I will never work with him, never, ever, ever again. And so I was like, what? It was the greatest scene. There's some great scenes, you know what I'm saying? And they both hated each other to a point. There's some, things that you don't know about, but they work well together. So, maybe sometimes you have to hate somebody to make it work. That's why our podcast is so good. We both hate each other off the screen, but on screen we have great chemistry.
I'm about to have a fight with you here in a moment.
Why? What's your number one?
My number one is the only movie that makes sense to be number one. One of the greatest movies of all time. I'm gonna make you an offer you can't refuse. The Godfather, 1972.
Overrated. Overrated. Yeah, you heard it here. Overrated.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was a show about shows. 53 and done.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you should be ashamed. Godfather number one. By God. No, everyone knows. By God, number one is Smokey and the Bandit. Always. So anyway, so on to news and notable stuff. Today, the breaking news is Jordan Owens has
Godfather.
left the podcast. Wait a minute, hold on. Let me retract that. I thought he left the podcast. I was going to try to end it tonight with the big news of that. But no,
I try not to. I try not to overdo it with the sequels because 1 and 2 could have been Godfather, Godfather Part 2, if I really wanted it to be.
you should have gone Godfather 2 because I could watch that one. The first one I just didn't care for.
But the number 2's not on your list either.
Well, because it wasn't that great. I'm saying if I had to choose one to watch, it would probably be Part 2.
Smokey and the Bandit.
Yes. I love that film. I can quote more from that than I can The Godfather. Jesus.
So you remind me of. Did you ever see The Family Guy, where they're all about to die,
Yeah.
and Peter Griffin's like, "I gotta tell you guys before we go, Godfather's overrated." The whole family's like, "Peter, what do you mean? It's beautiful. It's iconic." He's like, "It insists upon itself." That's you, man. If me and you were in a drowning boat, that's like the last thing you would tell me.
Well, I just told you. So yeah, I'm one of the very. It's like Scarface, very overrated. So it's just my opinion. So.
Scarface, what the fuck?
I'm just saying, if you were to say, people who love these movies and who critique them of iconoclast, Godfather is overrated. But you like it, so tell me why you like it, my good man. If you're number one, it's not mine.
Can I do my shitty quote? Jesus, interrupt me 3 times. You come to me on the day of my podcast, and you disrespect me and my family now. I just, come on, man. I mean, this is where, and why people still think Pacino's a good actor to this day. I mean, just the turning of the character here, and it's so iconic. It's so well shot. The story of this family, the scene with James Caan, and leave the gun, take the cannoli. I mean, just Godfather. It's such a beautiful film, man. Come on.
I don't care. But no, again, our top 10 lists are subjective to what we believe is good. I just, like I said, I would have had Star Wars on there, but I couldn't put it on there because it's not my favorite Star Wars. Alien was one of my, it was on there. There's a lot of, ones that didn't make the list that I wanted to. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest I really wanted. I wanted a few others. A Poseidon Adventure I loved as a kid.
So someone's just show some love from my side too. Apocalypse Now. Neither one of us talked about that. Saturday Night Fever, the better John Travolta movie from that decade. Halloween, man, I'm so sad I couldn't put Halloween on the list.
Yeah, Halloween was there. I understand, but yeah, I just couldn't do it.
And then Mad Max as well. Good old OG Gibson Mad Max.
Yeah, before we all knew who he truly was. But I still like me some Mad Max. I ain't gonna forgive it. I'll forgive him because I didn't know anything back in the day. I'll still watch him.
Let's go over our top 10s real quick. The top 10 movies of the 70s from JPO are: number 10, The Warriors; number 9, Logan's Run; number 8, Stepford Wives; number 7, Superman; number 6, Alien; 5, Rocky 2; 4, Star Wars 4, A New Hope; 3, Monty Python and the Holy Grail; 2, Jaws; and number 1, Godfather. Dutch, tell me your list while I cry.
Number 10, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Number 9, Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Number 8, Rocky Horror Picture Show. Number 7, Blazing Saddles. Number 6, Grease. Number 5, The Exorcist. Number 4, The Jerk. Number 3, Superman. Number 2, Jaws. And the number 1 movie of 1970 in my book, Smokey and the Bandit. I love it. Love it.
That was the top 10 of the 70s, brought to you here by Dutch and JPO. Let's do a little inside baseball, man. By the time we're here next week, Dutch, I say let's do our top 10 of the first half of the year.
What, we have the first half of the year? Wow, that's going to be crappy.
Things are tough when, what is it, Sonic and I don't know what else, Bad Boys 3 are probably going to make the list.
Underwater will make the list.
Underwater
know,
might be again, man.
well, we also have what we've watched on VOD. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to have to include those. I'm not just throwing theater movies.
No, I've never secluded the list at the theater. It's literally if it's released in 2020,
You
put
gotta
it
you
on your
gotta talk
list.
about it.
Put it on your list. Top 10 of the first half of 2020.
Yeah, because it would be a tough thing to hoe if you just said theater that we watched in the theater. Bloodshot would make it. What the hell is that about?
Oh God, no. Well, I don't know. Did we
But
see?
that was the
After
last
what?
movie we watched together, I believe, right? Bloodshot.
Yeah, Bloodshot, and then it all went to hell.
Yeah, see what happens, Vin Diesel, you son of a bitch. I blame Vin Diesel for the worst that we have today. See what happens with you people giving money to make movies? You ruin the economy.
That was the economy that went to hell. No, now it did, but because of something else.
What are you talking about? It's all Vin Diesel, no matter how it works. You didn't hear it? It came from Vin Diesel, this virus. No? Okay. We're just trying to go a different way with it. Why not? Anywho, so my favorite subject that we have coming up is news and notable stuff.
Of course, we're gonna have to start off again. It's always sad to do this, but you got to do it. Another RIP to a filmmaking legend here. Director Joel Schumacher has passed away at the age of 80. From directing films like The Lost Boys, Flatliners, Falling Down, love Falling Down, The Client, A Time to Kill, Batman Forever, Batman and Robin, 8mm, Bad Company, Phone Booth, Number 23, and the most recent one was Trespass with Nicolas Cage a few years ago. He even wrote some of those films. He wrote Sparkle, Car Wash with George Carlin and Pryor, The Wiz, DC Cab, St. Elmo's Fire, Flawless, and the most recent Phantom of the Opera, I believe the one with Gerard Butler here. So shout out to Joel Schumacher. Some really fun films there, man. As I said, I think Falling Down is fantastic. People still love Lost Boys. Batman Forever, I think, is underrated. Bad Company, I think, is underrated. Phone Booth is really good. Number 23 has its moments. So, big shout out to him.
Yeah, I like most of his movies except 8mm. I didn't care for that one.
I don't mind that one.
And I didn't care for the Batman movies that he did.
No, I like Forever. Robin, it falls off, unfortunately, because it just becomes a cheesy toy commercial.
Well, it was just, to me, at the end of the day, it was all about nipple plates and cod pieces.
That's what I mean. It's just very cheesy and bad. Yeah, that fourth one. But the third one, I think, is maybe just because it hit me at the right time. I was 6. I still have those glasses from Burger King that I can drink with.
Is that the one with the Riddler, right? That one?
That is, Jim Carrey, Tommy Lee Jones, Drew Barrymore. Yeah,
that was not a good one. I like the Riddler part of it, but everything else is just...
It's good. It's good. It's fun.
Anyway, well, I'm not crapping on his memory. I just say those are the 3 that I didn't really
No, I understand.
DC Cab, if you ever watched DC Cab.
I don't know what the fuck that is. I just saw T was on the cover, so I figured let's mention it.
It's about a DC Cab company.
No way.
Yeah. Could you believe that? But yeah, it's a good film. It's actually pretty funny back in the day. Yeah. So anyway.
Let's talk about some renewals here. Black AF, hashtag Black AF, has been renewed for season 2 over at Netflix. A show you just gave a good review to. Crossing Swords will come back for season 2 over at Hulu, as well as Solar Opposites for season 2 over at Hulu. I look forward to that. I know I'll get Hulu pretty soon for that Andy Samberg movie, so I plan on checking those 2 out once I start my Hulu again. Another show you're a fan of, Lucifer, has been confirmed for a 6th and final season over at the Flicks of Net. Season 5, Part 1, by the way, coming to you August 21st. You will have the first chunk of that season and the second chunk later on. Speaking of things I know you're excited about, VelociPastor 2 is in development. That's right, VelociPastor. It's about dinosaurs and priests. You haven't seen the first one?
Oh my God! Is this almost like is this a Sci-Fi Network show?
I'm sure it's been on the Sci-Fi Channel. I gotta imagine it's an Asylum movie or something. I don't know. I just felt like I had to talk about VelociPastor.
Oh my God! You know what? Maybe it'll be a nominated for an Academy Award.
Best screenplay, The Pastor. Um, Chicken Run 2 is in the works over at Netflix. Remember Chicken Run from the year 2000?
Absolutely. Did you hear what they are not going to be given a part two?
Mel Gibson?
Absolutely. They've actually come out and said Mel Gibson is not going to come back as his partner, as the recurring role in that show.
Not a shocker.
Especially after what Winona Ryder just said about him as well.
Oh, well, that's news to me, but I didn't know that. J.K. Simmons, though, has confirmed that he will be back as J. Jonah Jameson. He's already filmed some stuff for an upcoming movie that he could not divulge which movie it was. Maybe he's like Gwyneth Paltrow. Did you ever see that clip where Gwyneth Paltrow didn't know what movie she was in?
Yes. It was on Jon Favreau's actual show, the cooking show that
the chef show. Yeah, she's like, no, I did Avengers. He's like, no, you were in one of the Spider-Mans. No, I wasn't. She didn't even know what she was in.
She just was, hey, look, man, it's paycheck cash. That's all it was.
Hey, man, she signed on for 6 films. She did 6, got the money, didn't care what Marvel she was in. The 4th VHS film is in the works. This is the VHS horror anthology series from the last few years. This is VHS.
VHS is making a comeback. I was like, really? Okay.
This one's called VHS 94. Have you ever seen any of these VHS horror anthologies?
No, and I'm okay with seeing one.
I know. I should have just said you haven't seen any, have you?
I don't watch a lot of horror, you know that.
Something else that I've always been interested in but never saw because of the platform. I never had it. Cobra Kai Season 3 is now coming to Netflix, switching off of the YouTube Plus or whatever, YouTube Premium, whatever it's called. And luckily, Seasons 1 and 2 will be coming with it as well later this year to air.
You'll enjoy these shows. They're very good. They're actually pretty good.
I've heard nothing but good things. I've always dabbled with doing a free trial to see it, but then I don't know. I was always like, I got plenty of other things. So glad to see it switching over. Probably, I gotta imagine too, because if that feels like the most talked about series YouTube's ever had, I gotta imagine their Plus must be dying too. Because why give it away if
they're doing a lot of reshifting over there at Google, with their Google Play and with their YouTube Red and YouTube Music. So there's a lot of shifting going on, a lot of thinning of the coal in the area a little bit. I think they're merging certain platforms. So yeah, that's the reason why. And plus, they don't usually hang in there that much with a lot of things. So
I don't know if you're excited about this like I am, man, because I was a fan of the books as well as the short-lived TV show. But Animorphs movie is in the works. Do you even know what this is?
I vaguely know, but yeah, because I had a little brother. But yeah, I have no clue. It's like Transformers with animals, right?
Sure. Yeah, basically, some people have the ability to transform into animals. And yeah, that's what it is. It's a young adult series of books, and they had a TV show as well. And
humans turn into animals.
Yeah, they can turn into a hawk at will. They can turn into a buffalo at will. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
One of them's an alien too that they're trying to help protect and whatnot. And yeah, it's a really interesting show. I dig it.
Oh, well, good luck to
them. There's like villain people that put like bugs in people's ears and stuff like that. If I remember. I have to really go back to my memory works. I already know what I'm getting you for Christmas.
JB's Jim Ross's ketchup.
Ketchup from JR. No, Marvel Legends Deadpool's premium interactive head is coming on sale soon. It's just a bust of his head, but it's interactive. It has like 600 phrases. I think you can work it like an Alexa and it will tell you stuff. It will move and talk like as if you have a headless Deadpool in your house.
Oh, that's fabulous for everybody involved.
Just a quick side note, August 10th, my birthday, and my Netflix wish list is down below. And I'm just saying, if you want to give me a Deadpool head, everyone, it's going to cost you about $100-some.
You know they're coming out with as well. They came out with a Cobra Commander. I don't know if you knew the steel face Cobra Commander.
Sure.
They just came out with that. I guess Hasbro is coming out with that. That's like $120. I was like, it looked kind of plasticky. If it didn't look plasticky, I would probably buy one.
What is it though? Just simply a mask?
It's an actual like cosplay hat, mask that you can put on. But I was like, it looks kind of flimsy. It doesn't, I've just seen pictures of it. But if it was like really like chrome plated and like that type of stuff, I would definitely probably part with 120 easy because I love Cobra Commander.
For Commander.
Uh,
Chris,
Ow, Destro!
the biggest news of the week is huge news, and I hope it happens. Michael Keaton is in talks to play Batman in the new Flash movie here. Maybe doing the the paradox and different timelines as well. So I love it. I've said before that I think it would be great to do like a Batman Beyond with Michael Keaton, and why not, man? I mean, we're at the point now. We've seen it in the TV shows now, so I think it would be dope as dope can be.
Okay, here's my thought process on this. Jeffrey Dean Morgan comes in, plays Thomas Wayne. You have Batman playing Michael Keaton. That sets up Batman. Batman Bruce Wayne, who sets that up for a Batman Beyond movie. I am so thrilled. But again, we may be giving Warner Brothers too much credit because they love to shoot themselves a lot in the foot with any because they just like to get in their way. But if they could just organically make this happen, that would be unbelievably. It would be a wet dream for everybody who was a big fan of Batman Beyond and the Flash Turning Point and Michael Keaton as Batman. So it'd just be unbelievably awesome if we could get this stuff pulled off. I'd be in heaven. I'd be in so much heaven right now. Heaven. What do you think?
I said it's the biggest news of the week, man, and I'm down for it, man. As I said, I've said myself that let's make it happen, man. Ever since J. Jonah Jameson and J.K. Simmons' return, and the TV shows have been doing all the sorts of bringing in Kevin Conroy and then even bringing in what's his face Robert Bull from the first Batman. Like we've done it already a little bit. We've set that realities out there. Like I love you, Robert Will, but screw him. Let's get Michael Keaton.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry, Robert Will. I know Robert Will watches. I'm sorry.
Well, you know what though? He was what? Who was he? He was the reporter, right? Robert Will. Yeah. So why not? Him and Kim Basinger, have them do something together.
Yeah, Basinger, you're not doing much. Again, Kim, I'm sorry. I know you watch Kim. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, who doesn't watch?
Michael Keaton.
Yeah. Everyone else from the original cast.
He's the only one that is watching. He's like, oh, well, fine. You just lost a viewer.
Yeah. But no.
I'm not going to be Batman. I'm just about to sign the contract. And then we get out in the news. Keaton about to sign until he watches a show about you.
Yeah, and then everyone hates us forever.
At least we'll get some hate watch, though.
Yeah. Hey, I don't know if you have this in your news. It's actually
done, so I don't.
It's pretty bad news. So we're gonna have to come up with some good news to make it happen.
Come up with something to top this, please. But all right.
Danny Masterson, we all know him from
from
the '70s shows. We were talking earlier about the comedian. What's his name? I can't remember his name already.
Chris D'Elia, but I guess that's good. I remember his name.
Yeah, Chris D'Elia, is being looked into for his peccadillos. Danny Masterson has been being charged with 3 counts of rape at this time. Again, it's been out there for years. People have been trying to get this to happen. Supposedly Scientology, whitewashed this on the way, and then the Me Too movement brought it back into the forefront, and other people were in charge this time, and they have been looking into it, and they found significant evidence at this time to charge him with this. Again, it's alleged. I'm not saying he has, but again, it's a big news. In Hollywood, a lot of Hollywood has been again, pulled under again through allegations. Same with the wrestling world, as we know. A lot of speaking out and speaking the truth. Things that needed to be brought to the light are now being brought.
Man. Yeah, this has been in the works for a little while here, man. I remember hearing about this. This is why they wrote him off. I think they even killed him, I believe.
Yeah, he was an executive. He was an executive producer on the show, and they said, "I'm sorry, you're no longer having this, and you're also dead." And they did it, and they survived for another couple seasons without it. So, but yeah, that is one that I really wanted to put out there. That 70 shows actor, Danny Masterson.
Makes you wonder too, man. I mean, like, will those reruns exist anymore? That's a pretty big ABC Family TNT rerun, it seems. So
I think
the whole show might get pulled now.
it's again in this day and age, it's possible. Because look what happened with Bill Cosby. Now, if he's convicted, I think yes, we're going to see that happen. Unfortunately, I find it unfortunate for everybody that just because of somebody who made who may have done something or did something, we'll say, everyone has to be punished for that one person's action. I
Yeah,
understand you
this
don't want
is
to give this man any more individual monies from this show, but sometimes actors need royalties, and you're taking away
yeah.
royalties.
People are gonna get punished. Yeah, Topher, obviously everyone there will get punished, unfortunately. And I get both ways. I mean, I don't. I know I'll probably have a hard time watching a show that's heavy on Hyde or anything he's done now.
Absolutely, and I just want to throw out there, Mulan has decided to change their date of release again. It's now August 21st. Tenet, which was supposed to be out July 17th, has moved to August, or and then moved from the 17th to the 31st. Now has moved to August 12th. So you want to throw that out there. Also, a new Pirates of the Caribbean film has a new lead, it seems, and her name is Margot Robbie. Yes, Margot
Yeah, I
Robbie.
believe that
Uh,
broke today. Yes, I had these notes done yesterday. Yeah, Margot Robbie, which is it's a good casting because it piques my interest just a little bit more because I'm really enjoying her and pretty much everything she does.
and if you love the Magic School Bus, this just broke as well today, or at least a couple days ago. Um, Elizabeth Banks is playing Mrs. Fizzle. Yes, she's playing Mrs. Fizzle, the leader of the little bus. I
Dude,
can see
I can see that. I totally
that.
see that.
Absolutely, I saw that. As soon as they said that, I was like, yeah, I can totally deal with that.
I can
And
see a
so,
Kristen Wiig maybe, but yeah, I can see Banks having fun with that.
yeah, and don't forget Hamilton, as we talked about in the past, will be coming out July 4th on Disney Plus. And
Yeah.
anything else out there that we can see? Oh yeah, to add to other, I was trying to brighten it up, and then I forgot. There's another one out there I wanted to talk about briefly. Ron Jeremy, he pled not guilty to his raping of the sexual assaults as well. He's been charged as well with I think 4 counts of sexual assault.
The
So porn
porn
star,
star?
yeah, porn star Ron Jeremy,
Oh.
who endeared himself to people in Hollywood, has now pushed himself back away from Hollywood again. So that is another
I
one.
just watched Orgasmo too, literally last week.
Yeah, and he is well. I don't know what to say on that one, but yes, it's a good movie. Bad for him. And also, I want to come up with something good here. I'm trying to find some good stuff
Give
here.
me something, man.
I want to come out with something good here. Let's see here. What do you have? You don't have any good one? Oh, also, Soul releases a new trailer. It comes out later on this November, I believe. Pixar's new animated film is coming out now in November. So there we go. I think we're pretty good now. How's that sound?
Sure.
Okay, good. I don't have any good news. I don't have any more.
Looks like
Um,
Russell Crowe's movie Unhinged has changed its release date as well.
no, it has. My goodness. So everyone's gonna move. Basically, we're moving to August, people. Everyone's just pack your
Uh,
bags.
from July 10th to July 31st now they're shooting for. So they're still trying to kind of be one of the first ones in.
Yeah, but I don't think it's going to happen. As you know, Florida, where we both live, we shut up 10,000 cases of COVID overnight. So I don't see how we're going to be able to be open for theaters unless something completely great happens. Uh, so I really want to be in the theater. Don't get me wrong, but until we get our case numbers down, right now we were trending at 5%, maybe a couple months ago with testing. We had a +5, which is not bad. Now we're at a +15. So we're not doing well as a state, people. Wear a mask. That's all I ask. Just wear a mask. Um, you can hear this from everybody, but wear a mask because it's very important. It's not only protecting you, it's protecting me and everyone else. I have like 50, I have now on, I think I have like 6+ different types of masks. You have your mask on right there. and you're able to breathe properly, right? You're able to breathe, right? You're not,
I don't love it, but I understand the necessity of it. So sure,
but
yeah, you know.
yeah, but you're
It's
not
annoying as
gasping.
shit, but I mean, at the same time, I don't want to
What
get me or others sick, so I get it.
Yeah, what's only 30 minutes, and this is why we're doing the show the way we are. We've had a few scares personally in
Plus,
my
that
end.
Herm should play Bird Box.
Yeah, absolutely. See, look at is that Sandra Bullock over there in that camera? I don't know who that is. She's just got her, you know. But yeah,
I did this at work for a second. I was like, is this what we're supposed to do? I don't get how this helps us, guys.
but yeah, like I said, though, use common sense, people. I don't care. It's not a political thing. It's an actual thing that we're all trying to do here. And show about shows, we care about each other, so we try to stay away from each other if we can. Lately, and like I said, I had a few scares on my own to my workplace, but I tested negative 3 times, so that's good. And just be safe and wear a mask. Yeah, it's uncomfortable as hell. Don't get me wrong. It gets hot. If you wear glasses, yeah, you're gonna fog up. Take them off, wander around the store like Mr. Magoo, like I do. But at the same time, it's okay. No one's judging you. Okay. Don't get up here. Don't get in your mind.
Let me ask you this. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. But are you one of those guys that will tell people if you see them out in the world, like put a mask on if they're not wearing one?
No, you know what? I'm not one for that. I believe that Darwinism will sort you out. I would hope. So, but yeah, I don't go around preaching to everybody to wear one. This format I can.
I've seen it happen a couple of times. That's why I asked. I've seen it happen a couple of times. Excuse me,
I don't
why
like.
aren't you?
Yeah, I don't like confrontations like that in public. God knows what people carry along with them anymore.
Only at Child's Play showings.
Yeah. If you show up drunk and all your buddies are doing mixed cocktails at the same time and you're acting like it's your living room, yeah,
Oh,
you're gonna get talking to, and then of
oh,
course Jordan won't be there to help you. He'll be going, guys, I'm trying to watch a movie. Shut up, and then he'll just keep watching. And as I'm getting my ass almost beaten up. So anyway,
I was gonna set up any moment, any moment.
any moment. But anyway, boss, that's all we got to say for this. Just be safe out there, kids. Wear your masks, even if it's for 30 minutes. Doctors got to wear them 12 hours. Okay, 12 hours a day. Who cares if you get mask me? Okay, mask me, whatever that's called. Wash your face. It'll be fine. Anywho, Jordan, I think we're done. What do you think?
I think so.
Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for listening to me again on my high horse to wear a mask. And Jordan, I thank you for putting up with me during this good old time of COVID. And hopefully we'll get through this and we'll all be in the studio again. And we'll be in the theater like Siskel and Ebert and not dead, but alive. So let's do that and be happy. And
To that I give 2 thumbs up.
hey. You give 2 snowflakes up, okay?
No, true. Because this is probably copyrighted.
That is copyrighted. So let's 2 palms up.
2 palms up.
2 palms up. So anyway, Jazz Hands Dutch, and along with my
Jordan Purcell, thanks for checking us out, guys. We love you more than you'll ever know.
Thank you. Love you.